So next, we have our table topics section, and this will be led by table topics leader, Madam Betsy Carswell, who is a veteran officer of this Toastmasters Club. Madam Betsy, can you please proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Toast Leader. We've seen some fantastic prepared speeches today, but in real life, you don't always have the luxury of being able to plan what you're going to say in advance. The ability to speak confidently and clearly with little or no preparation is a very valuable skill. And like many things in life, confidence comes with practice. And at Toastmasters, the table topic session allows us to practice our impromptu speaking in a safe and friendly environment. And I'm going to call on folks to answer questions I've chosen, and you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to answer. So the first question goes to Carol. Carol, I understand that you recently had the opportunity to attend a Las Vegas Aces game in Las Vegas. I know that you regularly attend the Washington Mystics games here in DC. How does it compare?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Leader, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Indeed, I did go to see the Las Vegas Aces in Las Vegas. So this is the first game I went to. And we in the Mystics, we don't have pyrotechnics. You see all this fire coming out when they introduce the players, the light show, the lighting of their name on the floor. We had literally none of that. The smoke, we have lights, but not, fire and smog and lights. So that part was incredible just to see that. And then at the same time, they won because they're like the Aces and they've only lost 3 games and we've lost, I think, 13. So that part was pretty interesting. And they won by a lot. They had more than 50 points at halftime. The Mystics play in a 4,200 seat arena, and the Aces play in a 10,000 seat arena, and it was sold out, and it had been sold out the last 2 games. Now, I went to a second game at the Aces, and that one was not sold out, but it was Tuesday night. I got to bring all my colleagues and the senator's staff. It was our staff retreat, and I recommended the Aces game as a place to bond, and people had a great time. And because we had a huge group of people, we had, I think, 50 people come, we got 2 floor seats, and I got one of them, which was pretty amazing. I kept saying, I'll share it. And everybody's like, no, you love basketball, you love the WNBA, just sit on the floor. So I got to have my floor seats and see the players super close, like right up against, like inches from my feet. And it was just a great time. So I recommend when you travel anywhere in one of the 12 cities, lucky enough to have a WNBA team, go and check it out. Madam Table Topics Leader.
Thank you, Carol. My next question goes to Jennifer. And it is, who do you admire, and do you consider them a hero or heroine, or do you repudiate those terms and call them something else?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Leader. Who do I admire? Do I call them my hero, heroine, or do I repudiate those terms? I admire a lot of people. I mean, over the years, there's this term I use, people inspire people. So I'm mostly drawn to people who brighten their environment with the light that they hold within. In a world where people are constantly fixated with the idea of pulling other people down in order to get ahead, I'm usually struck by the strength and the generosity of people who are willing to sacrifice to build other people up. In my own primary environment, my mother has been this figure. At school, it was my maths teacher who, in high school, even though I was terrible in maths, she was generous enough to nominate me to be the senior head girl of my school. In my church, it's my pastor whose word of counsel was very instrumental in shaping my formative years as a young person. Of course, I'm still young. In my workplace, it's my colleague, whose name I would not mention because of privacy, who is always willing to say, instead of spoon feeding you, I'm going to show you how to do this in order for you to be able to improve your abilities and then hopefully pass the knowledge on to others. At Toastmasters US Senate Club, it's everyone present here. Your commitment, your passion, and your love for personal growth and development is always a source of inspiration to me. So to answer your question, Madam Table Topics Leader, everyone who is committed to brightening up our world are people I admire. So not just one person, but more like a chain of people whom I come across every day and who hopefully would inspire me to also send out some light to others around me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. My next question is for Bonnie. Bonnie, what brings you joy?
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Joy is one of those very interesting concepts. Many years ago, in the previous educational curriculum, there was a speech project called The Abstract Concept. You had to give a speech talking about an abstract concept and trying to make it real to the listeners. And I think Gabriel did a great job in that today for his speech. Joy is one of those abstract concepts that might not mean the same thing to everyone. So what brings me joy is not going to be necessarily the same thing that brings Betsy joy or Carol joy. I bet Carol for joy would be when the Mystics win. Sorry, slipped there. For me, joy is enjoying the outside. I've been walking outside a little bit more than usual, and I've seen the flowers that are blooming. I've seen the turtles in the lake near my house. I've seen the birds. It is just great to really think about what brings you joy and then do it. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. My apologies, I'd forgotten that you were doing an evaluation, so you get extra points for, table topics. My next question is for Sunny, and I believe Carol will do timer for you. What is your favorite or least favorite technological innovation of the last 10 years?
Hi, Betsy, and thank you all for today's meeting and including me in the table topics. So I have to say, my least favorite innovation in the past 10 years in terms of technology is the smartphone. I worked as a waitress for several years while in college, and one of the banes of my existence was walking into a restaurant and seeing no one engaging in conversation and everyone faces illuminated by their phones. To me, this feels like a breakdown of the human bonding experience. We're constantly looking at information through our phones rather than through our own eyes and the experiences that we are physically living in the analog space. Often, my way of breaking down walls whenever I'm in a place where I see people on their phones is engaging in conversation. Even on the Hill, whenever I get into an elevator filled with people on their phones, what I always find myself doing is asking them about their day. What are you looking at on your phone? Are your emails particularly good, bad? What are your plans for the weekend? And more often than not, people seem to enjoy this, and the sad, sort of bland look on their faces dissipates as they brighten up and start talking with someone in person. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Sunny. I have one more question, And Charles, would you be willing to answer a question? That's not the question. Okay. What is your favorite sound and why?
It may sound crazy, but I would say my favorite sound is the sound of the machines coming on at a bowling alley. I was a youth league bowler pretty much all my life at in Maryland. And to get there early and actually hear the machine start to purr was a real exciting thing to, what started the beginning of the day. Um, my father went to college and learned and took a elective at learning how to bowl. And when he came home and taught my mom, he created a domino effect for the family. Um, both my sister and I uh, were bowlers. I have a couple of cousins that joined me as a youth bowler. Um, it's my most motivating sound. Is to hear those machines come on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charles. And thank you everyone who participated in Table Topics. I really enjoy the opportunity to learn more about everybody through this process. So thank you so much for sharing so much about yourselves.